we are having this Michael Jackson uh, live discussion. A little different, right? Because normally I just post his videos, right? Because we're all Michael Jackson fans, as I have my Thriller shirt on. Um, and I got MJ in the background with the thumbnail. Um, Also, I had a little difficulty, you guys. I had a little difficulty with the previous live that I had posted, and I don't know if some of you guys were waiting on that one, but I had a little few technical difficulties, so I wound up actually having to just go live all over again. Let me adjust this because I'm not happy with it. Let me see. Shoot. Let me see if I can lower this a little bit so you guys can see me okay, or should we a little bit higher up? I want you guys to see MJ real good there. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. I don't know. But anyway, so today's topics are fame, right? Because there's fame and then there's MJ fame, okay, right? So there's like varying levels. Um, Michael Jackson obviously was in a category all to himself. So I just thought it'd be a nice idea to just discuss, and you guys can put your thoughts into the chat. That would be awesome. But what, you guys are gonna see me do that quite often, right? I'm gonna refresh the screen. So I have MJ in the background. I would have the music, but YouTube tends to copyright strike people when music is playing for too long. So we're not gonna do that. But I do have my shirt and I have my screensaver, so that's good enough. But anyway, so yeah, so there's different categories of fame, right? So there's celebrity fame, and then there's Michael Jackson famous, which had to be incredibly isolating. Like there's, different levels to it, but we're gonna discuss his fame, right? And the effects that may have had on him just as, not just an artist, but as a human being and just living his day-to-day life. Really, he didn't have much choice in it at all. As we know, he started very young, and that's really all that he ever really knew. So we have fame, his musical genius. Lately, there has been a lot of artists that pop up, and people are so quick to compare these new artists or existing artists. Maybe they've been around a little while too, but they're so quick to compare those artists and put those artists on Michael Jackson talent level, which to me is just not, you can't do that. I don't know. But we're going to get into that. And then lastly, one of the most obvious, most like hot topics that have forever surrounded Michael Jackson has been his appearance change, right? Because, as we know, his appearance from coming up as a child, from, Jackson 5 into all the way, 2009 to the end was dramatically different. So I just wanted to touch on that as well. As we know, he did have vitiligo, and there are documented photos that show it. Like he had pictures where you can see that he was affected really badly by that. And you can only imagine, you have fame, right, mixed in with all eyes are on you, and your body is going through this dramatic metamorphosis, right? So that has to be like, in and of itself, like, what would you do? I think that he did what to me was the most sensible, right? He tried to have one full solid complexion, but he was criticized a lot for that. But yeah, so let me see, do any of you guys, if there's anything in the chat, I don't know, not gonna worry about it right now at the moment. But so let's just start off. So with fame, there's a lot of people that have the choice, right? I think Michael Jackson, tremendously talented, great opportunity to actually come up and start off as a youth, and just mega success even as a little one, right? However, he was not really given the opportunity to choose, right? As we whatever, let's say teens or young adults, we do have the choice to decide what we want our career path to be. He really didn't have much choice in it. Hugely successful. I think the world benefited from him taking the direction of becoming a musical artist, just all around talent. However, the level of fame, uh, to me, was just in its own category for Michael Jackson. I mean, my God. Um, there are celebrities, and I'm not saying that other celebrities do not experience or go through, moments where maybe they want to just be normal or not seen, and they have that opportunity to, maybe put on a baseball cap and put on their glasses, and they can walk into a restaurant or go grocery shopping, and it's not, like a whole, they're not just a huge spectacle where everything just stops. Um, Michael Jackson, it was said that a lot of times he would go in costume when he did want to just kind of have a normal experience. But obviously, if you have to dress up and put on like Hollywood makeup, that's still not a full on normal experience. But yeah, that had to have been, I can only imagine, extremely isolating. Um, and then if you think about it, like, for me, what comes to mind is like kind of like a science experiment, right? Um, where, or even not even a science experience experiment, but more like a psychological. I think there was a study done in psychology where they used, I think apes were used, where they isolated the babies from their moms and literally did not give those little infant um, apes any kind of attention, and they wanted to see what effect that would have on the ape as the ape growed and matured. Clearly, it was off balance. There was a lot. The apes had emotional problems. What they could see, there was depression, there was this, there was that. Michael Jackson, for being on such a level where everyone that was around him in some way, shape, or form would benefit from being connected to him, many times he still did not get any kind of like, I don't want to say never ever, because I think hopefully he did. He had family. He had a good relationship, good friendship with Liz Taylor, with Chris Tucker. So hopefully somewhere along the way he did actually have some genuine connections of people that just really just enjoyed his company and getting to know MJ for who he was. But most people in some way, shape, or form would benefit. Be it a boost in their career, or they could just take a piece of his clothing and sell it, or anything. Um, but he psychologically, just knowing that 99.9% of the people that you surround yourself with potentially are not genuine, that any and everything you do is scrutinized. If you want to go to the mall, the entire mall has to be shut down. Just that had to have been, I think he handled it with grace, but that alone had to have been incredibly isolating. And like I said, I'm trying to think of, if you guys could think of any celebrities, do put their names down below in the chat. But I right now cannot think of any celeb that is on the level of Michael Jackson. I cannot. It doesn't matter whether Michael Jackson was in the United States, right? Because there's a lot of celebrities that are famous, but in the States, everybody knows them. They go out of the country and they could just be normal, right? Michael Jackson around the world just had that level of just Michael Jackson fame, right? So he really could not escape that. In a lot of ways, I think he did try to escape and create his own reality, which I think was necessary just to kind of cope. Where he had Neverland, right? Many of you guys like to call him Peter Pan, which is true, right? He just, many ways, because he was denied like a normal childhood, and he, as he said, he was always performing. Always, he couldn't think of a time in his life when he was not in some way, shape, or form performing, right? And he didn't have that opportunity, to just be a kid, right? Go play around in the dirt or whatever, just play with kids, be out. So he created his Neverland, right? Which I think, again, was necessary to kind of cope with his level of fame and his level, creating some sense of normalcy and things that he enjoyed, surrounding himself around those things. So yeah, I just think that when a lot of times I think it's a little bit saddening when you think about it. It's just, I don't know. And I wonder, I do have a question for you guys. If Michael Jackson, if he had a choice, right? Because I don't really think he had much of a choice in it, but if he had a choice and he knew the level of fame he would reach and all of the, it was a lot of good things that came with it, but it was a lot of negative scrutiny that came with his level of fame. If he had it to do it all over again, do you guys think he would choose the same path? Or would he choose to be, I don't know, a dance teacher at Juilliard instead, right? Or a music teacher at a university, like just given the opportunity, I wonder, and I guess we'll never know, would Michael Jackson have chosen the same path? I don't know. But yeah, so he's on his own level of fame. And then our next topic is musical genius, and how there are so many artists now that are so quickly for the press to compare them to Michael Jackson level of talent, right? Which, MJ was an original. You don't hear anybody say, oh, look, he's doing I don't know, I'm gonna use Chris Brown, because recently Chris Brown was actually compared to Michael Jackson. Just quickly to kind of make a disclaimer, I do think that Chris Brown is incredibly talented. I like a lot of his music. I think that right now, presently, there probably isn't any other artist within his genre that is as talented, musically, can dance like he can, and has the business savvy and fortitude to make all of the types of variations of music, and just to keep putting out music that is relevant. I think Chris Brown is doing his own thing. However, to say that Chris Brown is as talented as MJ, come again. I'm sorry. I don't think so. No. But people are always doing that. When MJ was alive, people wanted to put Justin Timberlake up there with MJ. MJ liked Justin, and I think that, he didn't shun that comparison in vocal stylings or whatever. But Justin Timberlake, great singer. No. Justin, not Michael Jackson talent. Chris Brown, no. Michael Jackson was just a once, in my opinion, a once in a lifetime type of talent that just had an incredible reach. Like, people all around the world somehow identified with Michael Jackson's music. You can see Michael Jackson impersonators in China, right? You can see Michael Jackson impersonators in countries in Africa. Okay, not just the United States, like all around the world. You see somebody's doing a certain dance or certain moves, they're saying, oh, he's doing the Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was very original, incredibly talented, very big-hearted. In a lot of ways, I personally think he may have been a little, too big-hearted for the world presently, right? People, I didn't know Michael Jackson personally, so I'm not saying that he was just, had no negatives about him, but in general, he was a huge, he gave huge to charity, did a lot of things that was not as publicized as what they wanted to do, a lot of negative things. I think that, he just all the way around was extremely original. From the way he dressed, right? There have been so many comedians, right? Movies that will, if they dress a certain way, you say, bam, he's dressed like Michael Jackson. That's the Michael Jackson look. Um, or somebody's wearing a red jacket and it has a certain, oh, that's that Thriller red, like he was extremely original. Maybe eventually there will be another artist that will come along that will come with some originality for its time, right? Kind of shake up the industry, because that's really what Michael Jackson did, and did that all the way to the end. Unfortunately, and in future lives, we'll talk about some of the controversial, um, other topics that were around Michael Jackson. And I think that what brought him a lot of sadness, probably in his, later years, closer to his death. Um, but yeah, so that's just my opinion on it. If you guys have a different opinion and you guys think there is an artist right now that is as talented, or just as, whatever, please do put it down in the chat, and maybe the next live we'll talk about those artists or whatever. Like I say, I wish I could have some MJ music playing in the background, but YouTube will give me a copyright strike because I can't play MJ music. Can you all see my Thriller shirt? Pow. Can you guys see it? Okay. I just wanted to make sure. But anyway, but yeah. So that's just my thought on Michael's musical genius. And there have been even some of the artists that we think now they could dance, or whatever. Like, Usher has been compared, his style of dance, and what the dance moves that Chris Brown does do. A lot of that is they're breakdancing, they're moonwalking, they're doing a lot of things. They perfected a lot of MJ moves, right? It's not original. And when Michael Jackson came along with, his whole, Billie Jean, Beat It, all that stuff was just so original, had not been done, and people were just blown away. So that in and of itself. And then let me check something. I don't know how much time we have left. But and then lastly, just to talk about appearance change. Now I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to be completely honest. Growing up, when I recall hearing a lot about Michael Jackson, and seeing how he was covered in the press, and seeing his appearance change, right? People talk about the light-skinned Michael. They talk about the dark-skinned Michael Jackson. They talk about whatever, and that combined with the amount of plastic surgery that he did have done to himself, for a lot of people, they just wrote it off as, Michael Jackson, he's not happy being black. He doesn't want to be an African American. Look, he's trying to look like, a white person, a white man, or whatever. Growing up, I still always have been a Michael Jackson fan, but when I was growing up, I thought that was, must have been the case. He had gotten a lot of plastic surgery, and, his appearance, he had went from being, a darker tone black person to just stark white. And his hair had straightened out, and everything like that. Growing up, still a Michael Jackson fan, but having learned a lot, having done a lot of research and seen, for most of you guys that are on here, you guys know Michael Jackson had vitiligo. Okay, vitiligo does affect a lot of melanated people. My son has a vitiligo. He doesn't have it real bad, but he does have that. But Michael Jackson's vitiligo, there are documented images, pictures that show just how badly it had gotten. It had gotten really bad. So I ask you, what would you do? Right? You're so famous that you can't step out of the door without being like just having press just flock to you, right? You're so incredibly famous, yet your body is changing drastically. All eyes are on you, but you are going through a huge metamorphosis. Lately, there has been a model. I don't know her name, and I should have done my research before this live. But she's in, hats off to her, incredibly, just her self esteem and everything. And she is beautiful, but her self esteem is just off the chain, because she has vitiligo. She's, blotched up really badly, but she still models. And I love that it's celebrated and that people are embracing differences more now than they did back in the day. But, Michael Jackson was dealing with that. Meanwhile, his music is topping the charts. He is, people are wanting him on this cover, on that cover. He's doing shows, performances, yet he's trying to cover that up. It is documented, and I have seen the interviews where Michael Jackson's his makeup artist, she talked about how at one point his blotches had gotten so bad that it made more sense to just to white out the darker blotches that he had, because it was just that, like, his complexion was just that impacted by the blotchy white and black pigments, color pigments. I do think that he did get some sort of, I don't know if he was getting injections or what. I don't know if he got injections or what, but he did get something just to even it out and just to make it just go completely white, which I think makes sense. That makes sense. I think that there are probably procedures that can be had to, lighten you up. I don't think there's anything that actually can melanate people. Maybe there is. I don't know. I just know that people, go to tanning salons and stuff for it. But for him, it was a different story. So he probably was getting some sort of treatments that helped to just even it out and make it completely white. But that's something that he battled with pretty badly. And to talk about his plastic surgery a little bit coupled with that, my personal opinion, my belief is that think about it. If you are just stark white, yet you have very ethnic features, I think that he did have some childhood trauma with his father and just growing up where he wasn't made to feel very good about how he looked, the size of his nose. So I think that was probably already kind of up there, even though he was very handsome before surgeries. Um, you know, still, even after in the beginning half, he was still very handsome, but he just was not pleased with that. But I think that a lot of those surgeries that he got was coupled with wanting it to look normal. Like if your skin is very pale, yet you look very ethnic, he probably, in my opinion, wanted to make his look a little bit more consistent. Um, so he did try to probably, um, make his nose a little bit straighter, possibly so that he could look as normal as possible. And I think the same with his hair. As we know, his hair, he was badly burned while making the commercial and all that. And after that, he was having to wear, hair pieces in dealing with that. But I think that as his complexion changed, his hair did go from more of a curlier texture to wearing it more straight, because he just to, like I said again, if you are completely whitened, completely pale, yet you have very ethnic features, I think Michael Jackson's attempt was just to make it a little bit more consistent, maybe potentially why he did straighten his hair out or wear more straighter hair pieces and things like that. But that's just my take on it. If you guys, you could leave your comments down in the chat. Let me see if there's anything said in the chat. I don't want to mess this up. This is my first time actually really going live with you guys on YouTube. So I'm afraid if I touch something, everything might go, I don't know. So I'm trying to Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm burping and I'm trying to get this off the screen. All right. Okay. I think I moved it. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on that, and two, we'll save some of that for future lives, but two, Michael Jackson, did, I think, deal with uh, prescription drugs, a lot of problems, issues with that. But I think that was even stemmed from what he dealt with his hair loss, and when he was so badly burned and had to take a lot of those painkillers. Some of them I think were addictive, but he had to take that because that, I mean, my God, you actually are losing a layer, of your scalp just burned out. Like that had to have been extremely painful. And again, meanwhile, all eyes are on him, right? So he's going through all these changes. He has skin changes. He's dealing with vitiligo. He's dealing with pain, loss of hair. And meanwhile, he's still in the spotlight. He's still incredibly famous. So, in my opinion, I think he handled it very well. I think that he was extremely gracious with it, and king of pop. What can we say? Um, I think that his nose surgeries were a bit excessive, to say the least. And I think they were excessive just because, he may have dealt with body dysmorphia or whatever, where you don't quite see yourself as you are. Um, like I say, that coupled with dealing with a lot of childhood trauma that he had not really healed from. That's just my own personal thoughts on it. You guys, are not a psychologist. I don't say I have all the answers or anything like that. But that's just really what I think. I think that he, through all of these changes, while he's under a excuse me, while he's under a microscope, was doing his best to just appear as normal as possible. I'm sorry, I'm trying to put my pretty flowers. If you guys can see my pretty flowers, I'm trying to put my pretty flowers in the background so you guys can see those. I'm sorry, ADD. But yeah. So if you guys have any different takes on it, and like I said, I also do not claim to be an expert at all. I am a Michael Jackson fan. Y'all see my Thriller shirt? I love it. I love it. I got to get more stuff. And then also, if you guys have not, do check out my website. And I'm going to pop that up on the screen in a minute, but it's LilahMichelle.com. On that, there is, Michael Jackson style backpacks, t-shirts, sweatshirts, all of that on there. Really cool stuff. I have a shirt where it's just showing the glove. Other little items that we know distinctively to be Michael Jackson, right? So I hope that you guys like some of the items that are on there. It's a little bit higher price than what I would like, but dealing with the distributor, prices had to be set a certain way. But like I say, still check it out. And then there's also other gear on there. If you guys are on my TikTok, I know right now TikTok, we're trying to figure out, is TikTok going to be banned or not? But if you guys get a chance, and you're not afraid to check it out, you guys can check out my TikTok account as well, which is LilahMichelle.com. There's a lot of Chris Tucker clips, videos like that, where he talks about his friendship with Michael Jackson. More Michael MJ videos on there as well with other celebrities. And then some of the gear that I'm actually selling is themed. Some of it is Rush Hour themed. Like I have there for Carter and Lee fans, which if you're a Rush Hour fan, then already know what the deal is with that. What else? So yeah, check out my website, LilahMichelle.com. Check out my TikTok. And then I recently did start the Instagram up. I'm trying to get that connected to my website. I don't know why it's not allowing me to, so I got to figure that out. But you guys can check that out as well. My page is open, but it's LilahMichelle.com. If you are on Instagram, please feel free to follow me. But yeah, what else? I think that is it. I'm going to actually pull up some of it so that you guys could just see a little bit in the background. And like I said, this is really like my first official live. Um, so we'll see where this goes. Um, but yeah, I have been promising you guys that we would do like a Michael Jackson live discussion. I'm still trying to figure out how stuff works, and I'm doing this from my phone. Maybe I need to do it from my desktop, and I'll be able to kind of maneuver and see chats a little bit better and whatnot. I don't know. So we're gonna try that next time. Um, but yeah, so those are my thoughts on his fame, his level of fame, which just, like I said, had to have been incredibly isolating. And hats off to MJ for being so graceful under all the scrutiny that he took. As just trying to. He did a lot of good, and a lot of the good things that Michael Jackson did was not always as celebrated, right? He dealt with a lot, and he did it gracefully, and while he was in the world, he made the world just that much better. And it's sad that he is gone, but we carry on his memory, right? Still listening to his music. And yeah, so I'm going to try to keep these lives going at least once a week. My goal would be just to kind of like stream daily with you guys. But that might be a little ambitious. We'll see how that goes, but at least once a week. So I will probably poll and see what day of the week, probably the weekend for me, Monday through Friday, working, all that stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, let me just go to my website and then you guys let me know. Let me see. Wait, let me escape that. I still have it pulled up for you guys. Let's see. Okay, so bam. Do you guys see that? Okay, can you guys see? Can you see? Okay, but anyway, so this is my website. And when you click on merch, it should pop up if your internet isn't all wacky like mine is right now. But anyway, so this is a lot of cool gear, a lot of different things that you guys could get. And this is even the MJ backpack, which I think is so cool. And then we have an MJ mug, which I just think is too adorable. You guys might actually see me sipping from it from time to time. But if you guys can see this, I wish I could make it larger, but anyway, it has his Thriller jacket on it. It's so original. If any other channel tries to do this, they got it from Lilah Michelle, okay? Just like their other Q&A stuff that they're trying to do now, you guys know I started it, okay? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be that way. But you guys feel me, right? And you guys can also get it in different colors, where you turn the mug to the side if you wanted them, but I personally like the black on the side. You could do white, or it's just one, or you could do the pretty pink. I like the pink too. See? But this is the MJ mug. And then what else? And then we got the backpack, which I think is really cool. Can you guys see it? So Michael Jackson. Why is this not? Let me see. There we go. But yeah, so I think it's cool when it comes in all these nice colors. I like the black, but you might want to try it in different colors. Yeah, so that's the MJ backpack, right? From my real MJ people. Y'all know. Okay. And then, yeah, so it's a ton of other things. We know anytime you guys see, wait, it just went out. Anytime you see those socks and shoes, what is that? That's original, right? That's Michael Jackson. That's Michael Jackson, MJ original right there, right? Okay. Like I said, he was original. His musical genius and all that stuff was original. His style was original. So anytime you see the he socks and shoes, we know that's MJ. And then this is fun. It has this glove on there, you guys. See? And that, when you see that, you know that is MJ. Glitter glove, okay? But that's on the shirt. On the back, it also has my little, my URL. But this is for my TikTok one. But Anyway, but yeah, so you guys can have fun. You guys could just explore. Um, check it out. And like I say, this also crosses with my TikTok stuff. So some of it also has like I said, some stuff from Rush Hour, some of my things from like I say, from my Carter Lee fans and things like that. So it's like a mixture. The reason why I call myself a celebrity entertainment content creator, right? Such a fun title, is because literally I cover celebs. My favorite and always will be the crowning king is MJ, right? Um, so that's why really my YouTube is kind of pretty much dedicated to MJ. But on my other platforms, you will see other celebrities, other artists covered in addition to Michael Jackson. Um, so yeah, and and then this is just if you guys wanted to, and this here is a mug. As you guys can see, this mug here. Hey y'all. But this mug here, this is my Lilah Michelle Classic logo mug. Now that I'm doing this, I'm just having fun going through this. I'm gonna spare you guys. I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. But you guys do get the gist, which is to check out my website. Okay, check out your girl's website. Okay, and see all of what's there. You guys can also sign up on my website and subscribe. So anytime I put out new apparel or maybe a new video goes out, you guys will be the first to be able to check it out. Yep, so that was Birch. This is my media page. You guys could click on any of those icons and it should be able to take you, although I'm having some trouble with my Instagram, y'all. I'm having a little trouble. Yeah, but hopefully that'll be up and going soon. And then this says keep up with the latest media and merch, which you guys can do by subscribing. And then I get dinged right away that I have a new subscriber. So you want to help your girl out or you guys just want to be supportive, feel free. Okay. And then if you guys do, for those of you all who, you know, are still hanging in there with the TikTok, if you guys are still hanging in there with TikTok, you might want to check out my page here. There's some videos of me, but there's also, like I said, of other artists, but there's still a lot of MJ that's covered there. We can see MJ over here, a lot of stuff. MJ, 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 MJ. And there's even, you know, other celebs talking about MJ, right? So do check that out. Dang, I should have had my Instagram. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. I don't have a lot on there. Let's see. Instagram.com. Dang it. They don't have it where you could just scroll it. I have to actually sign in and all that. So we're not going to worry about it. But do check me out. I am Lilah Michelle on Instagram. You guys look that up. I am. Oh, I don't like this angle, y'all. But yeah, it's the I am Lilah Michelle on Instagram. So I don't know how long this has been running. I feel like I've been talking my head off. Probably because I have not been able to chat with you guys. Let me see, does anybody else been chatting in the chat so I can respond? I don't even know how to, I don't know. But yeah, so I'm not going to, my goal was an hour. So I guess I could have slowed down on some of the other topics, but I'm not going to just keep you guys on here because my goal was an hour. But yeah, Michael Jackson in a nutshell, fame in his own category. He may as well have lived on Mars for God's sakes because he was just that famous, okay, like that, like isolated due to the level of fame that he's at. I don't really know much else to say, and because even him being the king of pop, being the king that he was and still is, there was no one that, in my opinion, not too many connections. I'll put it this way: not too many connections did he have that I would say was genuine, and I think he knew that. How he coped with that, I don't know. Um, because that has to be like a mind freak. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you're making friends and or people are hanging out with you, but you know that the ones that are hanging out with you are doing that just because somehow their benefit is, like they're smiling and oh yeah, laughing at all your jokes and stuff, and like, damn, that has to be, that's rough. That's rough. That's rough. Um, and how he worked, I don't know. I think that too may have been where he just preferred to be to himself. I know that they say he would visit a lot of antique shops and do a lot of his own things that he enjoyed doing, right? Listening to um, music, classical music, and he enjoyed a lot of the art. He was just more probably still created in his own mind and world, like his own just um, sanctuary, right? Minus the extra smiling people that surrounded him. So I don't know, but yeah, so that's my thoughts on his fame, on his appearance. He was just doing his best that he could do. What would you do? That's what I want to know. If you guys can, write in the chat, what would you do? Maybe you guys would have did exactly what MJ did. But what would you guys have done if the entire world, all eyes on you, but you are freaking changing, drastically changing, visually changing, and there's not much you could do about it. And with vitiligo, it can literally, like, let's say you can be okay most of your life without any huge outbreaks. Like maybe it's isolated, maybe you just have a patch on your arm or on your stomach, on your back, whatever. And you could be that way all the way up into your 30s, and then boom, bam, all of a sudden it's like just huge outbreaks. And once you get that loss of pigment, it's not like the color comes back. So he's living, he's dealing with all these huge changes and doing the best that he could do to look as normal, and not just normal, because you got to look good, right? You're in the public's eye, doing the best that he could do to still look good, look appealing, despite the fact that visually he's very different. um I don't know, but yeah, I think the plastic surgery and all that stuff with the nose. I think that was a 50-50. I think some of that was dealing with his own hangups, growing up being told like you're ugly, your nose is too big, you're this, you're that, it's that, and the third, and feeling that way. And then the other 50% of it, I think, and I do think that him feeling that way did come with him having body dysmorphia. I think he did. Um, and there are a lot of famous people, a lot of people that you'll see them have had plastic surgery to the point where they have become nothing like what they used to look like. Like one lady, I think they called her Catwoman. If you guys know who I'm talking about, I don't know. Put it in the chat. But she used to be a model or something like that. But she got so much plastic surgery that they literally call her Catwoman. And she does look like a large. Oh, damn! It makes me think of that movie, that Stephen King movie, Sleepwalkers, where the people turned into like cats and stuff. But she looks like that. But that was just because she's dealing with a mental illness, right? Which I think should not be laughed at or made fun of, but like literally she had body dysmorphia. Like she's getting all this surgery and not really seeing that it's not improving her looks, right? And that she's enough. She looks good just as she is, and she doesn't need all that stuff. So I think, like I say, 50% of it was Michael dealing with that. The other 50, I think, was trying to look visually as in line with having very pale skin, right? Which I think is why he began wearing more straighter hair, along with the smaller nose. I think all of that kind of goes in with more, you know, I guess Nordic European looks, because his skin was, like I think still Michael was trying to look as he was trying to do as much as he could with what he was dealing with what his case was. He was trying to do the most with that. And I think at that time, the world was not as accepting of differences as they are now. Back in the day, there was no supermodels that are super famous that have vitiligo, clearly. Now there are. In the day, if there was now we have, rappers that are, gay rappers. We have, the world now I think is probably a lot more accepting than what they were back then. Now, maybe if Michael Jackson, was as famous now, still live, and suddenly he had a vitiligo outbreak, maybe he would not have needed to do that. I don't know. But I think he was just doing the most as he could with that, mixed in with body dysmorphia. Um, but on the outside, most people just looked at him and saw him as, oh, he doesn't want to be black. He doesn't like being a black man. He changed his color. He changed his look. Now but I think it was like several moving wheels that all equaled out to that. But whatever color, he was still MJ, and we still love him, or loved him, still love him, regardless. So, but yeah, you guys, I have enjoyed. I'm not going to keep you guys, but those are just my thoughts. Maybe I don't know what I'll probably bounce some topics off of you guys, and see what you guys think in terms of like what should be the next topic. I have no idea, but there's a lot to choose from, clearly. And maybe by next live, I'll have it all figured out where I'll know really how to navigate through this stuff. But I have enjoyed chatting with you guys, going live, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye. Now, how do I get out of this? Let's see. Bam.